Hey everyone, it's Ornlu, and we do finally have our December update for 2023. I know I already went through the changes that were on the pup, I don't know what, a couple weeks ago or something like that. Now the official patch is live. There are some things I'd want to go over for this video, though, where there were also some alterations to the balance changes, and I want to cover that. So, yes, I have covered some of this stuff before, but I think it's worth making this extra video to go through and see what is in the game right now. So, we have lots of exciting new updates and a new challenge scenario, Mangudai Madness. T West was telling me about it, and it's like a Mangudai micro simulator. So we'll have to try that out and see how that one goes. Some new quality of life features, new mod validator. There's the challenge scenario, classic bug fixes and pathfinding fixes. Hopefully that'll be good. Let us see. So, yes, you have to defend a wonder, and it's like tower defense, and there'll be a leaderboard, and of course, we will be giving that a go. Also, there are new animated player icons. Look at them in all of their animated glory. Three new cosmetic DLC packs. Okay, so I guess you buy them? Okay. Oh yeah, buy for Steam. How much are they? We're doing this live. I just didn't check to see what this was before. 492. Oh, the bundle's 492. They're $3 each. So this is definitely just a different way they're trying to monetize the game. I know a lot of people really don't like cosmetic paid add-ons, but I mean, obviously my position's a little bit different because I make a living doing content creation off of this, but honestly, it's fine. There's no gameplay benefit to these. It's just there if you want it. It is not required. But yeah, it's definitely something that is new. They're trying it out, so if you guys find this sort of thing interesting and want to buy it, then go ahead. Personally, I don't care at all, but it's one of those things where if people like it and it's worth doing, then they'll keep making them. I imagine if people aren't interested in this, they won't do anymore. So go ahead and check it out. So, game stuff, stability and performance, various crashes, lots of things there, some achievement fixes. This is one that I've noticed. Units standing behind mule carts were really hard to spot, so now they will properly have display outlines and snow trails, super important there. Yeah, just a few audio fixes. Now, this is an interesting one because, ever since I was playing this game as a wee lad, the stats were not necessarily the most intuitive thing in the world. So there is an extend unit stats option, which will give you some really important stuff. Like reload time is something that I think a lot of players, unless you play the game a lot, won't really know. Like, oh, skirmishers attack 50% slower than archers, or the reason the Mangudai is so strong is because it attacks super fast, and all that stuff, as well as the effects of things like thumb ring on reload time and stuff like that. Movement speed, again, not something that's necessarily the most intuitive. Blast radius, certainly good. Regeneration rate, I mean, that's not going to be for too many units. I mean, what has regeneration? You have Berserks, Magrebi Camels, Medical Corps Elephants, and Cavalry for Georgians. Is there anything else that has regeneration? Can't think of it off the top of my head. Work rate, I'm not too sure what this one's going to be. We'll have to see, is it TCs and or villagers? How quickly are the villagers gathering resources? Because that would be a really nice one to have. Here is the efficiency of this villager, because they have that in other AoE games, I believe. And then nearby enhancement. There aren't that many aura effects in the game, but honestly, they keep on making more of them, so I think this probably makes sense. This will be displayed if the unit does pierce or melee damage. This is probably helpful to new players who might not know that Mamelukes deal melee damage and whatnot. And if the unit has a minimum range, the range will be displayed as maximum range / minimum range. Okay, so I guess that can help for your, mangonels and skirmishers and whatnot. Unit's training description. Oh yeah, this is fun. Keep watchtowers, guard towers, stonewall, pavilion A. Oh, thank goodness for pavilion A. Buildings now have unique icons. That's fun. If a player selects 2 production buildings of different types, they can now produce units from the last selected production building. I guess now if I'm thinking about it, it would be the first. They used to be the first one. I guess, like, okay, you select a barracks and queue up some spearmen, and then you, like, shift-click an archery range, and then you can make some skirmishers. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. But yeah, I'll have to see how much difference that makes. Classic Steam Cloud issues. Menus become stuck. That's good. All maps receive the same amount of votes. This is like any voting on my stream. All of you people just want to make all the votes 50-50. SMH. Okay, so that's fine. Few issues fixed there. Mule carts have... Oh, this is nice. You can use both Lumber Camp and Mining Camp configured hotkeys. Oh, that's nice. That's something I wish we had. A few things there, some Xbox issues. Obviously, I'll link these changes in the description if you want to check those out, because if I'm skimming over something that you find personally relevant. Gates can now be locked in before the construction is finished. As I said in the last video I did on this, like, good stuff there. You know, it situationally will ruin your day if that's not the case, or if, you know, that you build the gate, it immediately is unlocked, and then all the units run through. Deer and prey animals now have more consistency in how long they pause before moving again. Deer luring is something that is very sort of... I don't want to say controversial now, but I think people are somewhat divided as to how much of a role they want it to play in any given game, because the meta, especially at higher levels, is very oriented around deer pushing, or, you know, whatever equivalent of the deer. And at least making it more consistent, I think, should be good for especially more casual players, because deer are rather finicky and always have been in terms of how much they want to be pushed. So I think this is probably good. Monk healing change is nice. Mule carts are now no longer visible in the fog of war. Always good there. Trebuchets no longer ignore shift commands when attacking buildings. This is something that's been around in the game for a very long time, so I'm glad that's been fixed. Groups of villagers now gather from unused farms. Okay. Fix an issue where rams grouped with other units would stop moving before reaching an enemy target when the player has issued an attack move. That's definitely something I've seen in the past, so that's good to fix. The monks no longer stop chasing a unit. They are converting if that unit stops moving. Perfectly fine stuff there. Whoops, what have I done? Alright, research block printing. The player be granted... Oh, yeah. I actually did notice this once. Go back to work hotkey. No villagers getting stuck. Or moving large groups of units would cause some units to stop reacting to group commands. Okay, that's definitely good. Guard. For the 5 times you ever want to use that. Nothing too crazy there. Warrior Priest and no attack stance can now heal allied units. This is something that, like, situationally pops up, but I've noticed before. So that's nice. Villagers no longer can drop off resources into buildings that a mule cart's garrison inside. This is something I messed around with TOS a while ago. We, like, went into the editor. You could do this with transport ships as well, where you could, like, garrison a mule cart into transport ships. And you could drop off resources to the tile that the mule cart was last at before going into the transport ship. I assume that's fixed too. That was a fun one. Group of monks now be shift queued to pick up and deliver relics. That's nice. No longer change direction rapidly when the path is obstructed when the player has an issue to follow command on the unit. Okay, you don't really use follow that often either, so I guess that's something. Fix an issue where warships would freeze occasionally if they issued many movement commands. We've definitely seen that one before, but something that I think has really been popping up in pro games is the ships sailing over the land and you know, getting some Flying Dutchman action. So hopefully that one can get fixed. Been seeing a lot of, you know, pings and then players laughing and then, you know, someone having to delete a ship. A deer will no longer get stuck if the player places a building foundation on them. Okay, that's something. Something else I want to see addressed is wolves, and pro players are abusing this like crazy, where if you do the trick where you know, the wolf is like running to attack you, and then you build the foundation of like a house or whatever, and then like the wolf very politely scooches off of the foundation, at that point the wolf won't attack anything. So hopefully that's something that is going to be fixed in the near future. Okay, so pathing around mule carts is good. Donjons and fortified churches. Okay, that's good. And just a few more issues there. Some campaign changes. Of course, you can go through these if you are interested. They do make these changes pretty consistently over time. All right, balance changes. I've gone through a lot of these before, so I'm just going to skim through the ones that I haven't talked about in depth and talk more about the ones that have been recent additions. So, monk conversion consistency. I talked about this before. Personally, if we really need to change monks, this is probably an okay way of doing it. It's just making them more consistent. The minimum time is increased, the maximum time is decreased, so monk play is just going to be fairly consistent. And then they're changing some of the bonuses there just to make things a bit more consistent. There's a new tech, Devotion. As people love pointing out, Aztecs can now get 100 HP on their monks, and every civ has access to this. It's like mini Faith, and then Faith plus Devotion together give you the same effect as Old Faith. So you can get part of the effect of Faith in Castle Age. It's basically all of this. And then the Drummond attack rebalance to deal equal damage with all projectiles, so the full damage on a main projectile, and with mostly cosmetic secondary projectiles. This is stuff they've changed with, the Hussite Wagon and the Organ Gun. And yeah, so you just... Basically, I think the damage versus building should be fairly similar, but I guess their damage versus high armor targets is going to be pretty bad. So we'll have to see how this one plays out in practice. Also, it makes the Armenian bonus better, where they fire a secondary projectile. That's going to be like just another, 20% more damage on the Drummonds, which is good considering they miss Siege Engineers. Drummonds also take longer to train. People have definitely been complaining a bit about the Drummonds because you don't need chemistry to get them, so now making them train longer seems like a pretty fair balancing act. Siege Engineers properly increases Petard bonus damage. Cavalier upgrade. Yeah, I have no idea why they decreased this. It just seems so random to me, but whatever. Mule carts now being targeted with lower priority than units. Definitely a fan of that. Now you can't use mule carts as just a wall for enemy archers and whatnot. And they have reduced the cost of the mule cart itself. So definitely interesting there. Armenians still getting a 25% discount. So it's like, 60 wood, 15 food for them. And this is, of course, just a straight up buff to Georgians as well. Armenians, just changing that a little bit. And the new projectile is always looking like an arrow to better demonstrate the fact that it deals 1 damage. No longer receives extra line of sight from block printing. Curses, foiled again. This is a new one, though, guys. Mule cart technology bonus increased from 25% to 40%. So I forget what the change was initially. It was like 25% to 30% or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the change was before, but now it's 40%. So you are getting some super efficient lumberjacks. You are losing access to two-man saw in the late game, though I'm sure you're still with a very good lumber camping, or I guess mule cart chopping exercise is just to make you stronger throughout basically most of the game, although probably the same in post-imp. This also, of course, affects your gold and stone mining, so you can get really efficient gold miners as well, because you do have access to gold shaft mining. You don't have access to stone shaft mining, but I assume at least the effect is going to be somewhat similar. So kind of an interesting change there. Just you're more reliant on getting those upgrades, and it sort of peaks faster in the mid-game, especially. This should help Armenians. And then the very good change here, Cilician Fleet, reducing the extra damage radius you get from 33% to 20%. Those demo ships were ridiculously overpowered, so this should hopefully tone it down just a little bit. Bengalis, the Cav Archer armor helps versus skirmishers, and I guess Camel Archers for your Rathas, and they now deal a little bit of trample damage. It's not too much, it's only 20%, but still, it's going to help a little bit for the Rathas, make it a bit more of a viable unique unit, because previously it wasn't that great. We had some Hussite Wagon nerfs, which I am a fan of because the unit is very annoying to play against. The damage is being nerfed by a little bit. The HP is being nerfed by a little bit. Now, this is only for the Castle Age version, but now both versions of the unit have a longer train time as well. And it's actually going to be the same as a Mangudai, so very, very slow. So definitely nerf there. Just getting a couple of those out in early Castle Age when neither player really has that much to field is definitely going to be worse now for Bohemians, and that's, good change there. Chinese, now you get what, 15 extra pop space and 2 extra line of sight, so just gonna make the Chinese start a little bit more consistent and better, especially for 4 players at lower levels, so that's good stuff there. I think that's like, it doesn't matter that much at high levels, so anything we can do to keep the Chinese with their extra 3 villagers, I think is a good thing, because I don't want to see that changed. Georgians, that fewer resources to repair buildings has been nerfed by a decent amount, actually. It was a very strong team bonus, and now the Monospas are getting fixed as well, so that is definitely a good thing. But I think where a lot of people are concerned, and myself is included, is that Georgians just don't feel like a very good civ right now. Like, all they really had going for them before was the fact that the Monospas were completely broken. But in a world where Monospas are at least relatively balanced, you don't really have that much exciting stuff for the civ right now. And I do find that a little concerning. Yeah, the mule carts are cheaper now, so that's an indirect buff. But it feels like Georgians probably could use a little love in the future. Armenians feel like they're kind of gliding into a decent spot in the metagame. Strong on water maps, relatively strong on the semi-closed maps. Georgians, I think, still definitely need a bit more figuring out. Hindustanis, they're going to split the difference between the old villager discount and the new villager discount. They're ugly numbers, 8, 13, 18, and 23, but I think this is like 2 less food per villager per age. And Hindustanis definitely felt a little underpowered, so I think this is just a good change. Huns, Tarkans now move faster. Good change there. They now move at the same speed as Cav Archers, and then other medium cavalry units like Keshiks and Lechai and Monospas. And now Huns just get a little bit of a horse on nomad style maps, which I believe can pick up sheep and whatnot. So that's going to make them very solid on any sort of nomad style map. It might help them overcome the fact that they can't build a dock right away on regular nomad. I don't know if this makes them like a super good civ here, but they're definitely going to be much stronger on any nomad map, like say a land nomad, where the fact that you can't build a dock right away doesn't matter, and you can just go ahead and scout and pick up lots of extra resources. So that's a good thing. Inca's getting a little bit of a nerf to their food discount for units, so you're getting 5% less per age. Incas did feel like they were just kind of a slightly better version of both Aztecs and Mayans, so I think that's a good change. And then the Elite Kamyuk, I think, is just to balance that. Or just the Kamyuk in general. This change is probably for the best, although you kind of end up with exactly Kshatriyas for the Gujaras. So it's kind of weird that you have a civ bonus that ends up with the exact same effect as a unique tech, but the Incas and Gujaras are very different civilizations, so it's okay. Japanese, this is definitely what I'm a fan of. The civilization bonus for Cav Archers is now +2 versus Archers, except Skirmishers, because Skirmishers were not countering these Cav Archers as much as they should have done. I don't know why this civ needed the bonus in the first place. It felt like Japanese were in a perfectly good position before, so sure, why not? Still feels like this could have been given to another civ later on. What do I know? Elite turtle ships now have the attack ground. That's fine. These bonuses, or these changes, were from before, so just nerfing the Savars a bit. This is the new one, though. So civilization bonus of cavalry generate 5 gold per kill is just completely removed. Is this for the best? Yeah, honestly. The gold bonus did feel a little overbearing. It makes your Cav Archer play a lot less attractive, which is unfortunate. I think it makes the Parthian tactics available in Castle Age thing a lot less exciting, but is this for the best? Yeah, probably. Persians just had a little too much going for them. The full Varked cost was decreased a bit. That's going to help Poles, especially on more open maps. Organ guns are changed so that they're more specialized against infantry and skirmishers, and less so against cavalry in particular. And then defeated warrior priests now generating cryptomatic gold. That is good. Return of Rome changes here. Can go through them if you want. I personally am not that interested in them. Some lobbies and matchmaking issues, fixed in issues where they could not see. Oh no, that's for ROR here. Mods are no longer disabled automatically when launching a new version of the game for the first time. No longer do you guys need to remember to turn on small trees, so that's a good thing. And then just a few other mod changes here as well. Some new scenario editor triggers, which is always fun. Okay, some localization issues. And as always, we're continuing to track reported issues. Yeah, good stuff. So, what's on the horizon coming up? They have a little end of year message thing. So, we can just go through that quickly. We're coming to another year of AoE2. They launched the Xbox version, of course, and yeah, good stuff there. Fifth DLC of the game, which is pretty cool. Able to continue developing content in this many years after its initial release. All of that is good as well. And we're happy to continue working as long as you're here with us, and we're pretty excited about what the future looks like. This is good, especially for somebody like me, who's, making content for the game. There's still plenty of stuff to keep doing. Animated icons is the new thing, so definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments about those things. Like I said, personally, I couldn't care at all about them, but maybe some people are interested in it. And tomorrow includes some really, really cool stuff. We're aware that from time to time, our community gets a little worried that we may be slowing down development of AoE2 DE in favor of other priorities, or maybe being distracted by other projects. But looking ahead at everything we've got planning, it really feels like the best is yet to come. Now, of course, this is corporate speak for... they're still doing stuff for the game. I don't know if it's going to be the best that AoE2 has to offer, but at least this shows that they are still going to keep up with content for the game, which is good. I think that is good. People are going to, of course, complain that, they're just going to keep on adding in civilizations that we don't need. We definitely don't need many more civilizations, but especially if they're adding in content like the new Mangudai game mode and the animated icons thing, stuff that doesn't necessarily change the fundamental play of AoE2. I think that's definitely a good thing. So there are fun surprises in the not too distant future. So we've been growing the team and contributions and all that stuff. 2024 is going to be a great year, so that is interesting. Some surprises we'll simply never guess. I don't know. And I'd also like to close 2023 by thanking everybody who is involved in the project, but especially me, not you guys. This is just me, Ornlu. So, ha! And yeah, of course, we all love the game, and that is going to be it, guys, for this December update. It's going to round out AoE2 this year. And before I go, I guess this just will lead into State of the Civs, which I'll be doing early next year, January. I'm going to kick that off. I'm thinking right now maybe 9 videos of 5, doing 2 a week for like a month and a half. That seems pretty reasonable. And I will be updating the tier list videos for the Mountain Royals. So look forward to that as well. But yeah, for the time being, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the patch in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.